There's a war going on, and I'm feeling the depression. Standing at the front line of the poverty zone. It's a 90-day freeze, and I'm about to catch pneumonia. I sure would try to phone you, but my last dime is gone. Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing? There's a war going on, and I'm feeling the depression. Congress is in session, but they might as well go home. 'Cause my tax is getting higher, and my pay is getting lower. Bus is running slower, and I'm about to lose my home. Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing? Ain't that nothing?
The customers were played by Dick Patterson and Sandra D. Bruin.
still and take your punishment like a man. Just like all my husbands did. Lord, please let her be all right, Lord. Please let her be all right.
I'm only kidding you. I'm going to give you your gift.
You are?
Sure. Later on, upstairs, tonight.
If it's what I think it is, it ain't even worth unwrapping. Another season's come and gone, come and gone. All the people we hold dear pack their bags and disappear. I hate to see 'em leaving. There ain't no use in grieving. You've always got me by your side, my pal, companion, buddy, and guide. The two of us, there'll always be for you and me, the two of us. We'll always be together like the cat and the cream, for we're in a dream of our own. We'll go it alone, there's just the two of us, and we'll be always traveling on. The two of us, we both agree it's gonna be the two of us. When people talk, they smile and say they know it won't last, but we're holding fast to a dream. We don't know what they mean. Right. It's still the two of us, and we will still be traveling, the two of us. And while the world's unraveling, the two of us, we'll just keep traveling on, traveling on, traveling on, traveling on. I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. There's a time you put aside for dreaming, and a time for things you have to do. But the time I like the best is any evening I can spend a moment here with you. When the time comes and I'm feeling lonely and I'm feeling oh so blue, I just sit back and think of you only, and the happiness still comes through. That's why I'm glad we had this time together, 'cause it makes me feel that I belong. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long.
Oddball and Wiggins started out as a very simple sketch. We never intended to do one beyond what we were doing. And it was just this dumb guy with a bad toupee and this stupid secretary whose rear end was rather large. And they were just had no communication whatsoever. And I had to, because I was paying her very little money to work for me, I had to maintain her occupancy. And it just, it was dumb. I had this dumb voice like this, and Carol was just this up in the air bozo that was going to be my secretary. And it just, we must have done 40 or 50 of those
I think
by
we
the
did.
time we got through with
But
it.
didn't you have a thing where about the answering, not the answering,
intercom.
the intercom.
The intercom, yes.
Where there was somebody that you had that would press the button.
Right. To show her how this intercom was going to work, I'd say, no, you talk into this one, and I'll listen to this one. And let me show you this. Hello, Mrs. Wiggins, can
Hello,
you hear me?
hello,
Hello, Mrs. Wiggins.
hello,
can
hello.
Don't talk while I'm there
Hello?
talking. Mrs. Wiggins, don't talk while I'm talking to give you just get that.
Hello.
Never got it. Yeah, never got it straight. Well, my mother was Romanian, and we used to go to visit the Romanian folks on Sunday to have dinner there, and they would sit around and talk like that. So I thought, well, that's a kind of funny.
I
But
always thought you were doing it like a Lawrence of Welk. I had to play
Yes.
your wife in one of those sketches.
I remember that.
Yes,
Could not,
right.
the body pad was bigger than me 3 times over. It was.
oh yeah,
Oh, you were
That was
great.
the
she's a
most
beautiful
ridiculous
woman, I tell you.
Did that always thought that you were sort of doing the Lawrence of Welk there.
And then
couldn't
you
figure
had
out
the
that
same
that-
accent,
I had
yes.
to have the same accent. That's you.
I saw that sketch on the internet, but I don't think the one I saw made the air.
No, it didn't.
Oh
No.
really? Yeah, it's strange. A lot of stuff.
No,
didn't
we
make
were
it,
we
yeah.
were doing silly, like, oh, something about Father Duffy.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Father
Yes.
Duffy
Going
and
over to Father
and
Duffy's.
yeah, and
Yes.
you said something about that Father Duffy's a full
Yeah, right.
like that, and then
That started it.
that
Yeah.
started it, and then when I came in, it was when you first hired Mrs. Wiggins.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on the YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, it's all over the YouTube. And then I came in and I gave you my resume, which had nothing on it,
Yeah.
right? And then I said I used to work for Father Duffy, and he was full of so I quit. And so we just kept doing that, you know. And finally, Dave Powers in the booth said, "Come on, guys." Then Vicky. Do you remember?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yes, there
topped
was
it.
one time I fell off the couch and onto the floor. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was
Yeah.
that was the elephant.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That was the first time ever that I
Said
broke you
that.
guys up ever. Because everybody, every time I do an interview, people will say, well, and you guys used to break each other up. And I said, I didn't do that so much because I don't really feel, I felt like I had not really earned the privilege to play with the grown-ups in the sandbox. I felt like I was still
Oh, but
learning and I
you
didn't
know,
dare.
you got me
Mama
as
came
Mama.
along. I got a little more bold and brazen. The night when they wrote Tim into the family sketches as
Yes.
Mickey Hart,
Yeah.
you got us all together and gave us a lecture and said, look, you know how much I love these characters. You know how strongly I feel about it. He is not going to be breaking us up. We will not be breaking the fourth wall. I want some discipline. Damn it, I want discipline. And who's the first person that loses it when he goes off? You got tears in your eyes. You're in my face. You're in my lap crying. Going, go ahead, Mama. Go ahead, Mama. And it was a disaster. So, like we used to do 2 shows, like live. We'd do what you called a dress rehearsal, which I'm assuming is just a throw over from your live television days. So that's
Yeah.
the way the schedule got written up.
yeah.
So we finish the first show. You have a little dinner break, get your touch-ups. The director comes by, Dave comes by and gives you your notes, which could be anything from I've changed your mark in the dance number, we're moving these lines around, we've changed Carol's joke here. That night, there's a knock on the door. There's only one note tonight. The elephant story will be different and good luck. And I go, what the hell? How does he get... Now, by now, Al and I are married, Al, the makeup man,
yeah.
on the show. I said, how does he get away with it? And Al looked at me and said, get him. Me? Little me? Anyway, I'd unleashed a monster, I believe,
Oh,
that
it
night.
was so
Yeah,
great.
that was the end. Yeah.
Unleashed a monster.
Well, that's when I got into the elephants, yes. And they were Siamese elephants. They were joined at the trunk. And they couldn't go like the other of us. They could just go Norca. Yeah.
But in the second show, there was the
Yeah.
little monkey that came
That-
out and danced
and
the
did the-
merengue.
Yes,
The
right.
merengue. Yeah. And then finally,
And there you were again with
I was-
tears
Yes.
in your eyes. And my
Well,
kid,
yes.
go ahead, Mama.
Go ahead, Mama. And then you said, "Are you sure that little?"
That little finished.
And the whole audience, and the crew, and
Yes.
Conway fell on the
Oh,
floor.
God.
I
That
fell
was-
back
yeah.
on the couch. Oh, that was brilliant.
Yes. Unleashed a monster.
You did that. You did.
I married Vicky's husband. And it was in the papers. I don't know if you remember. Yes, Vicky married the makeup man, and I married the secretary, Carol's secretary.
It's my #1 beauty tip.
Yeah.
Sleep with your makeup man.
That's right.
Let me make a comment on Tim's wife, Charlene. She was Joe Hamilton's, Carol's husband's secretary. And she's the one who met me at the elevator when I went in for the first interview. She took me through the offices and to meet Joe and Arnie Rosen, who was the head writer. So we sat down and made a little small talk. And I knew I was there to interview for the part of the announcer. So I thought it would be funny if I were to stutter and say, I think I would be good an announcer.
I never knew that.
You didn't know that? Arnie and Joe kind of looked at me and I thought to myself, bad idea. Boy, did I blow this. Anyway, they thanked me for coming in and I left the room feeling very depressed. To my surprise, they called back the next day and wanted me to come in and meet you. So I went to CBS and was directed down the hall to the conference room where we were meeting. And I opened the door and there was Joe and Arnie and several of the writers and the director and Carol. When I opened the door, she saw me and she faked a faint and fell to the floor. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
So I figured this was a setup. So I dashed over to her and knelt down next to her and put my arms and says, "Is there anything I can do? Can I help? Can I give you a little mouth to mouth?" No, I didn't say that. I wish I would have. Anyway, I helped her up and we had a little small talk and I left the room. And to my amazement and surprise and delight, the next day they called and said that I got the job. So
Sure
I guess
did.
the stuttering helped.
I love that story. I never heard that.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Well, Charlene said that the minute she saw you, she said, I knew he had the job.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, good-looking guy like you. You were the second best looking guy on the job.
Yeah, there you go.
Behind me, you know, yeah.
I think she had a lot to do with it. I heard later on.
Oh, yes.
After I left the office, Joe stuck his head out and asked the secretary, well, what do you think?
Yeah.
And they gave me a thumbs up.
That's
so.
right.
That's how I got the show, too. Yeah, same thing, yeah.
Dick Clare and Jenna McMahon wrote this sketch about a dysfunctional family, and I just loved the characters. But Dick and Jenna were from Chicago, and so when we read the first script, they reminded me of my relatives in Texas and Arkansas. And so that's when I started talking like this, and then you picked up on it, and then Harvey. And Dick and Jenna were not too thrilled
They were upset.
when they saw it in the run-through that Wednesday because they thought we would alienate part of the country.
They walked out of the run-through,
Yeah,
as I recall.
But
Is
then,
that right? Oh, my
They,
gosh.
they were so upset.
But
Yeah.
then they liked it after a while.
Well,
you know.
Because it got such a pop. And that was back in the day of typewriters, too.
Right.
And it would take them and you loved those characters so much, you were like, write another family sketch.
Yeah.
And you'd hear those typewriters going like mad in their office. And
Yeah.
then you'd go by the next week and you'd hear them screaming and yelling because she'd do all the female parts, he'd do all the male
Right,
parts.
right,
and then
right.
it'd be quiet and you'd hear nothing but the typewriters again.
Well, also, I think, I liked the Eunice character for me for some reason. It's a part of you or whatever. She appealed to me, and I think we were going to hire some older woman or something.
You always told me they wrote Mama for You, and that you were going to get a guest star to play Eunice. But
Either way, and then when I said I want to be Eunice, they thought they'd get a guest star to play
Mama.
Mama, and it was only going to be one time,
Sketch.
one sketch, and it was Bob, I think, Mackey, who said, "Well, let's just Vicky.
Yeah, let's make Vicky the old
let's
lady.
make Vicky the old lady," and he put you in that wig and the whole thing, and you jutted your chin out, and you were Mama, and that's, I mean, it was just.
And then, what was Betty White, your sister? Or
She was my sister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Ellen.
She was good,
Ellen,
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she
Yes.
was kind of a witchy
Yeah.
sister. Yeah.
Boy, her career's sure gone down the tube, hasn't it?
Oh, and
poor
that-
Betty.
That thing.
85 years old
see
and
her
can't find a
everywhere.
job, I
She's
tell you.
90.
She is?
90.
She told me she was 85 when I
Well,
took
she
her out.
just lied.
Just last week.
Yeah.
No, we celebrated her 90th birthday not too long ago.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Funny lady. God.
And an interesting bit of trivia is how many kids did Mama have?
Oh, please.
Besides you, there were a number of guest stars that played kids.
We
Yeah.
had, first was Roddy McDowell, played Philip. Then we had Tommy Smothers from the hospital
Played your brother.
thing as a brother. Alan Alda as another brother. And then Kenny Berry was took over Philip's role
Right.
when we did the play.
Right, the special.
Eunice, yeah.
Yeah,
But I think that was it. And then Betty White was a sister.
right.
Mama was a busy lady.
She was a frisky gal.
all right, well,
Yeah.
You know, I've had a lot of people ask me about playing the mother,
Yeah.
and the only thing I can think is that I was the supporting female on the show, so that's what I did. You were Shirley Temple. I was the mean old school
Mother.
marm.
Right, right.
You were Laura. I was the
maid.
the mean old maid. I mean, it's kind of what I did. I was the wicked witch. I was
You
the,
were,
know.
oh, well, Mrs. Dampers, the takeoff of Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of what I did.
Yeah.
So at the time it was sort of,
That's
well, it's
cool.
another old lady to play.
Yeah.
And I was just really sort of trying to get a older version of what you were doing
Yeah.
with Eunice. And I tell this story often, run-through day. We used to hate run-through because everybody was seated in front of us in folding chairs, and it was in a brightly lit room, and it was, used to call it Judgment at Nuremberg.
That's right.
And you and I would almost always run into each other in the Tinklatorium, having our last little nervous tinkle before Judgment at Nuremberg. So the first time we ever did the family sketch, I go into the ladies' room, and I'm nervous, and I close the door, and there's somebody just sitting there in the stall, and I hear the voice in the stall next to me, Mama. I said, what the hell is it, Eunice? I'm sitting on the toilet, she's sitting on the toilet. Just wondering if you got any toilet paper over there. I said, I'm busy right now, Eunice. Well, I just need some paper. Well, when I'm done doing what I'm doing, if I've got any paper left, I'll get you your damn paper. Okay, fine. We had this huge conversation seated on the toilets, during which I remember a pair of high heels came in and then left so quickly. We were in there screaming at each other. We came out, we went high five. This is going to be great. We went back in.
We knew.
That was Harvey in
we
the
just
high
knew it was
heels.
gonna be great.
Yeah.
Plus the echo is so
Yeah.
great in there, you know. We knew.
Well, I would always go in there, as you said, to
Have a
just
moment
have a moment alone. And this one time, I was trying to come up with a voice for Stella Toddler, the old lady. And so what I'd been doing all week was I'd be talking like this. And I thought, that's too, I don't know. So I went in, I'm sitting on the john just before the run through, and I say, well, maybe we could go like this. Well, that's pretty good. I think maybe that's the way I'm gonna do it. Yeah. And I'm talking, and I open the door, and these two women are standing there by the sink, just looking, because I've been saying, yeah, it's really good.
And the echo helps in there, don't you think?
Yeah, I think
You
we
sound
should have
better
taped
than
the
you
whole
really are.
show. And yeah, exactly.
Ever rehearse your lines in the car on the way to work?
I would listen to them.
And you stop, oh, I see, rehearse your lines,
Yeah.
and you're doing them, and you stop at a stoplight, and you look over and the people next to you are watching you and say, what the heck is she doing?
Talking to himself.
Yeah.
Steve Lawrence had a great story about when he was a guest on the show. And he had the script in the car, you know, had his name on it, Steve Lawrence, and the Burnett Show, and blah, blah, blah. So he's driving, and he made a wrong move in traffic and went into the CBS parking lot, and a cop followed him in. And the cop said, you made a wrong turn back there. He said, can I see your license? And Tim didn't have his license with him. He said, look, no, I'm Steve Lawrence. I'm on the Burnett Show this week. I swear, I look. This guy said, how do I know you're Steve Lawrence? And he said, well, look, oh, look, here's the script. It's got my name on it right here. He said, how do I know you didn't steal the car? And he said, oh, look, okay, here, turn to page whatever. He said, you read Carol's part, and I'll do my part, right? So the cop was saying, so hi, honey, did you bring the thing home from the office? And Steve had his line, and he would toss back and forth. Finally, halfway through, the cop said, this isn't funny.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
Steve was an excellent sketch actor.
Oh, God. Yeah, there were times, after we went into syndication, where they cut all the music,
Yep.
and it was just a half hour of the sketches. Steve and Edie were in an airport one day, and these teenagers came up and they said, you're that funny guy on the Burnett Show. They didn't know he could carry a tune.
Well, I found him to
Ken
be
Berry's another one. I'll
Ken,
show
too.
They'll say, oh my God, he's so hysterical. He was so funny on Mama's Family. I go, let me show you what he did on the Burnett Show. I could just sit and watch him dance for
Me too, and sing.
forever. Yeah, so good.
Steve was a good sketch actor. Also, I found him to be a very good kisser.
Yes, he was. Did you kiss him?
I did.
When?
During the
Was it-
Godfather sketch.
Oh, the
He gave me
Godfather.
the kiss of death. we had to kiss and hold it for like 30 seconds. There was a bunch of dialogue going on.
Oh,
That was your
God.
first date, as I recall.
Actually, yes, we
After
got along
that.
very well
Yeah,
after that.
very well. Oh,
It was a thrill to have an actress like Joanne Woodward come on, and she had a ball doing The Family. She was my best friend Midge or something was her name, and we'd gone out and got kind of tanked up at a bar. So we were singing and acting up in the house when Mama and Ed came in, and there was a great moment there when she tells you off, told Mama off. But also what was exciting was Paul Newman was in the booth.
I know, I was dying.
And I thought, oh my God, Paul Newman is in the booth watching the show and everything. And then we went out, Joe and I, to dinner with them at a Chinese restaurant afterwards. And he was so charming. And he taught me how to use